Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Art History Fun with Dr. Brian. I'm Brian Zygmunt, professor of art history at Mount St. Mary's University, and today I have another request from a former student at Clark University, Darcy. This one's for you. It's Eugene Delacroix's Liberty Leading the People. Let's go. Now, during the 50 years between, say, 1775 and 1825, we have a kind of a battle between two different artistic styles. One could be that of neoclassicism, very much championed by Jacques-Louis David, and a second could be that of romanticism, led by artists such as Eugene Delacroix, who we see here. Liberty Leading the People was done in 1830 in response to the July Revolution of that same year. In order to really understand what's going on, we need just a little bit of history. During this time, King Charles V issued sort of restrictive orders suspending the press and also dissolving the nationwide legislature. And as a result, there was a public outrising at the end of July, the so-called 3 glorious days between the 27th and the 29th, in which the people rose up in opposition to this, what they believed was tyranny. As a result of this, King Charles X was disposed from power, and Louis Philippe was sort of elected or appointed as what we have now called the Citizen King. What Delacroix gives us in this painting is a kind of allegorical scene of this uprising. It's very much anchored by a woman sort of standing on a pile of corpses. In her left hand, she holds a musket with a bayonet on it, and on the right hand, in her right hand, she holds the tree-colored flag. She's more or less nude to the waist, wearing a Phrygian cap on her head, and she's an allegorical representation of freedom or liberty. She's not meant to represent a real person. There's no topless women running around the barricades, I hope. But she is an allegory, much like the Statue of Liberty is not a person, but a representation of an idea. And one of the things that's really important about this painting is that there are a variety of different types of people who are represented. For example, the standing boy on the right-hand side of the composition, who wears kind of a bicorn hat and is waving around rather dangerously 2 pistols, he represents the youth of Paris. In the middle part of the composition, just to the left of that, you can see a man who maybe is much more upper class. He's wearing a waistcoat and a coat. He has a cravat around his neck, a top hat upon his head. He's holding what looks to be a shotgun. He represents the upper class of Paris. And the person who's on the left-hand side of the composition, he's much more lower class, I think you would agree. He's got a saber in one hand, as if he's a pirate, a pistol dangerously tucked into his waistband. He's got what I would always call like a paperboy hat on his head. He's not clean shaven. He looks much more lower or working class. And so we have the young, the upper class, the lower class, and around the standing figure of Liberty, you can see a variety of dead people who Liberty clearly is standing on, including this figure who seems to be at her feet, who has red, a little bit of white, and blue attire, this color very much mimicking the color of the tree-colored flag of France. One of the fun things about this composition is you can see Notre Dame on the right-hand side. Those towers, those vertical towers, provide us a glimpse of what is maybe the most pronounced architectural building in France during the 1830s. Certainly the Eiffel Tower, which is later, would be so now, but Notre Dame very much has this place in the 1830s. Now, when the July Revolution happened, artists don't often storm the barricades. Delacroix was no exception. But he wrote to his brother that if I have not fought for my country, at least I will paint for her. This composition was meant to be a kind of visual representation of Delacroix's own ideals. And this represents something really, really important about the revolution that was swirling around France during the year of 1830. This was displayed at the 1831 annual salon. And it was both praised for the energeticness of the composition, but at the same time, it was criticized for what people thought was vulgarity. Certainly, there was no problem with the depiction of the female nude. That was very much a part of the neoclassical and romantic time periods. But this seemed a bit more vulgar. Delacroix's Liberty Leading the People is one of the real bangers of the French Romantic period, and it encapsulates a lot of the things that we associate with the Romantic period: energetic colors, exciting brushstrokes, and actually a sense of feeling taking primacy over intellect. And in this regard, it's such a marvelous card carrying example. Really good shout out to Darcy, who was probably in my class in 2016 or 2017, which, Darcy, seems like a lifetime ago. Thanks for sticking around, everyone. We'll see you next time.